Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and do the permeability experiment. Once again, I apologize if this is not the best edited video in the world, but I just wanted to make sure that you had an overview of the experiment so that you knew what happened. I'm going to actually do the experiment for you, but you should have an idea of what went on in the experiment so that you can make the proper deductions and you apply these what you learned from this experiment in class. So what we have here, you can see it, this is the Tug Hill Aquifer lab portion, and you can see this is a sediment experiment. You should have that up on your screen in the video. And the directions, let's go ahead and zoom this just a little bit. Zoom. Okay, so make it a little easier to see. So what we're going to do, what we have in this experiment is 3 different types of sediments. Okay, so we're on the page over here where we have sand, fine sand, and till. So for our sand, this is actually a very coarse sand that we're using. Okay, so it's got a grain size of larger than a few millimeters in some of the grains. Okay, this is our fine sand. This is like a very fine beach sand. Both of these are samples. They've already been sorted, so all the grain sizes should be approximately the same. Now this is a sample of till, and this till is actually from this area. This is actually taken from the back side of Thompson Park Hill, so basically the south side of Thompson Park Hill near the top. And we can see that we have these big rounded pieces of gravel mixed in with some very fine sediment. And this is fairly representative of till and the kind of till that you will find in the Watertown area and in the North Country. So this is our sand. It's coarse sand, fine sand, and till. Now in our permeability experiment, we're going to take 50 milliliters of water, and we have an empty, just want to see the webcam so I make sure that you guys are seeing what I'm seeing. And it's close enough. So, okay, so you have these 2 right here. And what we're going to do is in the empty graduated cylinder, we're going to put a funnel. And just to make sure that our sediment doesn't actually fall all the way through the funnel, we're going to put a little piece of cheesecloth in there, and then we're going to dump the sediment in. Now, I'd like you to take a moment, just like we did in other portions of this lab that we're doing together online. I want you to take a moment and think critically. Pause the video and think about whether or not, which one of these is going to have the highest permeability. Remember, permeability is the ability to let the fluid flow through it. So just picture water running through each of these samples. It should be, using logic, it should be fairly easy to make this prediction. So just think about that for a moment and go ahead and pause the video. And I will wait while you pause. So we are pausing, we are pausing. Okay, so now I'm just going to run through the first sediment, which is our coarse sand, listed as sand. And then the other ones, I'll turn off the camera and give you the results. But I want to have you have an idea of what was actually done in lab. So I'm going to dump this in here. Okay. And then I'm going to take my cell phone and I am going to find over here, we're going to use the stopwatch function on our cell phone. And what we're going to do is we are going to time how long it takes the water to get through this sediment right here. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to start my timer and start pouring. Okay, it all went through. I'm going to stop. This took only about 6.7 seconds. Okay. So for the sand, the result is 6.7 seconds. Now I'm just going to run through the rest of the experiment and give you the results. Okay, so The last one, the till, if we look over here, it's still dripping slowly, but as it says in the directions, if it took longer than 4 minutes, we're going to put max. And you can see right here that it's definitely taken longer than 4 minutes. So I'm just going to go ahead and stop that and put down max for my till, in other words, more than 4 minutes. And then here we have the results. We have 6.7 seconds for the sand, the coarse sand, 17.1 seconds for the fine sand, and max for the till.